Fresh haircut and ready for news. Let's talk. What up, viewers? What up? What up? Calc Soups here, and today is Friday, July 25th, and that means it's time for a quick recap of the week in video game news. The big thing this week was Pokemon Presents. Pokemon Presents? Pokemon had their semi-annual showcase this week, where they talked about all the things that are coming for Pokemon fans out there. The first of which was Pokemon Concierge is coming out soon. It's a stop-motion show with a Psyduck and someone managing a Pokemon hotel, so that looks fun. And yeah, I could use some homely Pokemon in my life to watch that. There's also another claymation Pokemon show coming out from the studio that makes Wallace and Gromit, which sounds fun, and they always do great stuff. There was a lot of Pokemon mobile games coming out, like there's a puzzler, some more ways to keep you on your phone while you play your Pokemon. They also had a little bit more of a deep dive on Pokemon Z to A, the next in the Arceus, I guess, series of Pokemon. They also announced a Switch 2 bundle for Pokemon Z to A. So if the Mario Kart bundle wasn't enough for you, you can buy Pokemon ZA and a Switch 2 for $500. There's a couple other things that they announced there. Let me know if you feel I forgot anything down below. But otherwise, those were all the things that caught my eye coming out of the Pokemon Presents. A game that was released into early access back in May of 2024 has now launched into 1.0. Abiotic Factor is a survival game with kind of like a Half-Life art style and a little bit of like a, maybe not SCP, but like intergalactic office vibe. So that's kind of where I get the SCP kind of stuff. But yeah, Abiotic Factor launched into 1.0 this week, so official, full release this week. Yeah, I've already got friends making up servers and going on intergalactic adventures together, so pick it up if you're a survival crafting fan. A new Souls-like has hit the market this week as well. Wuchang Fallen Feathers has a very Chinese art style to it. It has a 75 Metacritic. I've read a couple of the reviews that say that like the world and the game design are done very well for the game, but it's got some performance issues and the level design is a little subpar. Pretty big shoes to fill. If you're shooting for trying to create a Souls-like, you've got some pretty big giants to compete with. But if you're looking for a new Souls-like, 75 Metacritic is not too shabby. So if you're looking for that, I'll have a link down below for you to check that out. Electronic Arts is finally jumping back into the Battlefield scene after falling off when Battlefield 2042 didn't perform as well as expectation back in 2021. So the first Battlefield game in 4 years, supposedly launching later this year, is Battlefield 6. There was a trailer launched this week, announced this week, that you can go out and check that out. I'll have a link down below. But yeah, I was surprised at how long it had been since a Battlefield game had been made. I know that 2042 was not well received, so yeah, interesting to see that they're back in that. It's still kind of a modern gameplay, but maybe they're not doing the futuristic stuff like they tried to do in 42. I've heard some places calling the games industry a matured business. I think if you talk to any finance bro, that's what they would say about the games industry. But a financial firm, PwC, is predicting that the games industry will grow to $300 billion by the year 2028. That's up nearly 33% from the $224 billion reported back in last year, back in 2024. So still predicting pretty hefty growths. Maybe not as big as the AI sector or some of that stuff, but and for those who aren't suffice to be the king of entertainment, I still think I'm not a financial, I have no fiduciary responsibility. I'm not a financial advisor, but I think growing potentially 33% in the next few years is definitely a worthwhile endeavor. But all of this is a little taken aback by all the job losses and studio shutdowns that we're hearing in the games industry. So hearing that the industry is still growing and making a lot of profit while everybody's losing their jobs and studios are closing is a little bit of a little bit hard to hear. But I hope the industry continues to grow and people find people who lost their jobs can find them. So interesting stuff there. You don't often hear about prices going down for games. Speaking of the money in games, but this week was announced Obsidian, with the blessing of Microsoft, of course, is lowering the price of Outer Worlds 2. Outer Worlds 2 was originally announced to be $80, much like Mario Kart is, and Nintendo got a whole bunch of crap for that. But they have since decreased their price down to $70. This will affect everybody on every platform, but I assume most people will be playing it either on PC Game Pass or Xbox Game Pass. So they will be playing $15 a month for it. But if people don't have that service, they will have to pay only $70 rather than $80 to play it at launch. A new record was set in the U.S. console space. We now have numbers around how many units the Switch 2 sold in the U.S., which set a record 1.6 million units for the month of June, and that is up nearly 50% from PS4's first month in November of 2023, which sold 1.1 million units. There's still a lot more legs. If Nintendo can keep units on shelves, there's still a lot more legs in this, and the fact that we haven't seen like Q4 sales yet, which are, I assume, also expected to be massive through the end of the year, will be quite impressive. So interesting to hear how quickly the Switch 2 has flown off the shelves, especially since that same weekend I was wandering around in retailers looking for one just to see if I could see one. But I digress. Moving right along, Claire Obscura's awesome soundtrack is being committed to a 6 LP vinyl soundtrack for $145. You can pick that up at Laced Records. I haven't enjoyed specifically as much of the soundtrack as probably is out there, considering I only got through the first 10 hours or so of the game. But I hear the soundtrack is awesome. I hear the story is awesome. And so if you want to pick up that soundtrack so you can listen through it on vinyl, you can do that for $145. Should be good. Moving on to a miraculous blend of Bethesda stuff. A Doom mod has been turned into a Fallout game called Fallout Bakersfield. This mod has released a 1 minute long trailer this week, and it definitely captures the Fallout 1 and 2 vibe, except for you're playing in first person, and it's a shooter. There's no RPG elements that I could tell, but it's definitely got a really good Fallout 1 kind of vibe, except for it turns it into a shooter, so it'd be interesting to play through. It's also funny to explore Bakersfield, a place I'm very familiar with, living in Southern California, but yeah, it'd be interesting to kind of explore that, and it's as with everything, I love Fallout stuff, so looking forward to seeing what comes of this. Last but not least, and slightly more Bethesda news, Wolfenstein is joining the ranks of Fallout, God of War, and Mass Effect by getting a TV show on Amazon Prime. Announced this week was a Wolfenstein show is being created. Now, there's no guarantee that we'll actually see the content. The only thing we've seen from any of those is Fallout Season 1, and hopefully we'll see Fallout Season 2 soon, but we've seen nothing about the God of War. Mass Effect has got barely anything written about it, so excited to see games IPs being turned into shows and TVs, and they even said in the article, punching and killing Nazis never gets old, so they're excited to work on this endeavor, but we're very early in the process if all they're doing is announcing that they've acquired the IP for it, so I'm also, if they're going to stay in bed with Bethesda, I think a Doom show would be pretty cool. I wonder how much practical stuff you could do, and the Doom movie didn't do so well, so, or at least is negatively regarded. So I'd still like to see them explore the Doom Slayer, especially with the kind of new stuff and how much story there was in Doom, the Dark Ages. So it'd be interesting to see what they could do with the Doom IP as well. But that's all speculation. The only thing we do know is Wolfenstein coming to Amazon. So, but that's it for this week. Let me know if you feel I forgot anything down below in the comments. But as always, thanks for watching. I hope you have a super day. I hope you have a super weekend. And I hope you have a super day. Bye.